All right, guys. Welcome to the Music World Podcast. This is episode 2. Last week was Afghanistan, if I remember correctly. It was 4 days ago.
Affirmative.
And this week it's Albania. We're sitting here with Chieforia. Am I saying that correctly? I'm probably butchering it.
No, that was it.
That was it?
That was the best.
Cool. If you want to spell that for people who may be listening instead of seeing it on YouTube.
Chieforia.
Exclamation point.
Final
Perfect.
answer.
That was
Final answer.
obnoxiously slow. No, but seriously, thanks for being here. Why don't you guys tell us a little bit about, what are you doing here? Why are you in the area? What kind of shenanigans you're getting up to?
Oh, shenanigans. You mean the stuff
Shenanigans.
with all the shit on the walls?
We're all from Jacksonville, Florida. We are going up the East Coast around to part of the Midwest and
You
then
should, introduce
heading back
yourself.
on home. I'm
Introduce
Aaron,
yourself,
by the way. I'm a saxophone player.
Let's get everybody around. Who are we talking to? What do you play in the band, Aaron?
Ooh.
I play saxophone.
Awesome.
And I'm Kyle. I play guitar and I sing.
Sweet.
I'm Evan. I play drums, percussion, and vocals.
Skin flute.
And skin flute.
And I would be the only one close enough to playing an actual skin flute, and I am the tromboner, Peter.
Great. Well, thanks for being here, guys. Again, let's talk about what you're doing. Let's circle back here. You're touring. Tell us a little about the shows coming up, how the tour's been thus far.
It's day 2, and the drummer's still alive, so we're doing all right.
That's great.
We're
Long
gonna.
nights.
It's been pretty
Short
relaxed.
nights, actually. Long days.
Who's driving?
Kyle's actually been
Yeah.
the
He's-
trooper.
Kyle's been doing most of the driving.
All of the driving.
He
All of
hasn't,
the
he hasn't,
driving
he hasn't asked
so
anybody
far.
to take over for him. It's kind of
Pointing
selfish
towards both
there.
of you, and you guys can just speak into it together.
Come on, get close to that mic, guys.
That's great. Why are you doing all the driving? That sounds like a burden.
It's not
Like,
too
it
bad.
sounds like some burdens you might have.
You got a few burdens.
Is it a control thing? Like my band, I gotta
You
drive.
should
and get
like
them there
control
safe.
this.
I think-
like feeling.
I think he feels if he's going down, he's taking everybody with him.
I think Kyle's just kind of like the dad of the band.
he started it. He's gonna end it. If anything.
Fearless leader.
Well, that's really nice of you. So tell the people a little bit about the type of music you guys play, in case they don't already know.
So we play ska music.
Speaking of the mic, sweetheart.
We play ska music.
It's SKA for those who might not know. There could be, silent letters and all that stuff.
Right.
English language is difficult.
So it's like I don't know. The best way I would describe it would be like
A lot of ickas. Pick it ups.
That is such.
We're picking a lot of
it's
stuff.
like
such.
it's like upbeat reggae punk-ish with horns.
Yeah.
So that's what separates ska from a lot of other punk sounds.
As well as
Just
reggae.
the horn
It's a
section.
nice hybrid. 33 miles a gallon.
So, if I'm not mistaken, you guys just cut a record.
Yes.
Yes.
Tell me about that. What's going on there? You got a single? What's good with that?
We do have a single.
Is the single
There's that
off
album
track?
cover there. on that second camera.
Chieforia.bandcamp.com.
Cool.
The single from the album is
Here,
a
give
track
me
called
that.
Off
I'll do
Track.
it to that camera, so we'll figure
Yeah.
out
So
which
what's
camera we
what's
want.
the distribution like? I know you guys got physicals, but
That's it.
just
Right
that
now.
for now.
We have the
It's
off
like
track
Photoshop
online.
it on, so it's
Let's say for example somebody sees this 6 months from now. Where might they find it?
That's Spotify, man.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the
Definitely.
trash can.
That's
Evan, don't say that.
that's maybe true.
I think Scott died when I was born. I've missed the mark terribly.
I'll be honest. When I think of ska music, and somebody back me up if they feel this way, I think of America's Funniest Home Videos.
Oh my God.
Yes.
What is it, Tom
Like
Bergeron?
Tom Bergeron was like,
Tom
I'm
Bergeron was
putting
the
ska on the
man.
fucking map. He's like, I'm bringing this shit home, right?
What about Kablam?
Oh my God, Kablam, the Toasters.
Remember that shit?
The
That
Kablam
was
and the
fucking-
Toasters.
Yeah. Impression that I
Yeah, I think that's what they had on the show. I could be completely wrong, but But yeah, we really appreciate you guys, sitting down with us.
We appreciate you having us.
What's the next stop on?
Yeah,
What's the next stop? Let's say this got
Our next stop
on
is
Facebook in the next couple of days, if people are watching it.
our
Where
next.
can they catch you?
I was gonna say our next stop, which is what we're not playing, but it's important for people to know, is word on the street is Washington D.C. has recreational. I don't know.
THC.
Yeah. Let's go with that. We'll go with the science route.
A Bob Marley extra crispy.
And us being Florida, and they only have medical, and even then, dispensaries aren't even up yet. We just want to know what that's like.
I think James can attest to that. As we were just in D.C., literally at the fucking House of Representatives. I'm not kidding. I'm not fucking around.
The House of Representing.
I have video
Yeah.
of me hitting my pen in the House of Representatives, so that happened. Yeah.
No,
The House of Representing.
That's
You're like, hey, you're my local
sure you wanna
senator.
put this online now?
Do you want to
yeah,
rip
right,
this shit?
bleep that out.
Hey, you know what?
It's technically legal. There's no,
That's true.
So I can walk in there, put a bag on the table,
he
and
was
say,
like a
"Give me all your weed."
He was like a fucking child in there. Like, dude, I got the fucking pen in here, dude.
Babe Nays.
But yeah, well, again, thank you guys for sitting down.
So you're
with us.
not playing a
Thank
show
you for
in
having
DC,
us.
just getting stoned in DC.
That's only tomorrow. That's only,
That's only tomorrow. We do have a show
down.
down.
And then we're gonna be going up to Connecticut, and we'll be going.
What is that, at
New
Liffey's?
Haven, Connecticut.
Yeah, the
Liffey's.
16th. And then Rochester the 17th, Detroit the 18th,
Rochester.
Chicago the 19th.
But then we are coming back to DC on the 24th to play a show.
Awesome. We're
Second
at.
to last one of the tour, I
Mason
believe.
Inn.
Cool.
The Mason.
Now, are you
Mason
guys
Inn,
playing?
17th.
The Freemasons
Washington,
in,
DC.
actually, but they had to change
Probably.
it.
Hey,
Now, are you guys playing with similar genre groups, or are you just filling in here and there?
Well, for the most part, it's similar genre groups, but every once in a while we got like solo artists we're playing with.
Yeah.
Last night, there was only supposed to be one solo artist in front of us, and they got, I swear they grabbed them off the street. They were just like, hey, we need another act. And so it made it 4 acts on the bill.
painful or?
No.
No, they were good.
Yeah. They were doing like in sync acoustic.
That's,
The duo
It was
was
pretty.
great.
It was pretty dope.
Right up.
that's definitely what I want to hear right now. So
Uh,
now, I did want to say, does anyone here know Discord?
Oh yeah.
They just put their whole library online for free to stream. I just read that today. If there's any Discord fans here, I mean, I got some like fucking 90 CD box set like 5 years ago and couldn't appreciate it.
is this a ska band?
Discord is a record DC like punk label.
Okay.
I happen to also know like the online chat communicator. That's what I first went to, and then you started talking about music. I was like, wait, this isn't geared towards video games. I was like, hold on.
That might come up.
Hey.
So we're gonna
Podcast is
talk a little bit about the history of Albania, just going complete fucking 180 to what we were just talking about.
Boom.
Hey, maybe there's some horns in it.
Maybe there's some horns.
I'm hoping so.
So what you're about to hear is the Albanian national anthem, and I'm going to talk a couple about the highlights.
Okay.
you don't have to stand.
Okay.
Let me just make sure I have the right document.
I just want to be respectful. That's all.
See, no, I don't even have all the highlights here. So let's see how loud this is.
Somebody get this man a highlighter.
Yeah, right?
Shut.
Yeah, so let me turn that up a little bit. So, I mean, off top, it's very American. Or it feels very American. I'm just American, so that's what it is.
I think
not
it
too
feels
loud, not too
patriotic.
loud.
It's a
too-
national anthem. It's just got that vibe.
It's not going in here, so. So, traditional music in Albania is called folk music. That's a fucking wild poll.
Holy shit.
It's one of the most valuable assets of the country as it's extremely rich with a variety of musical instruments used to accompany the voice in folk dances. The most common traditional instrument is the lute in the north, and I'm going to spell it S-A-Z-E, it might be says, which is small orchestras composed of 4 or 5 instruments in the south. So the north and south are extremely different, which is something I didn't know. I have 2 songs each from different places. So we're gonna jump into those.
Let's hit up the North Side.
Yeah, I wonder if there's like, hip hop has a West Coast, East Coast beef and stuff like that. Back in the 90s. I wonder if it's a North-South
even
thing.
ska has it. Like, you could definitely tell it's a little more punk rock because you had like CBGBs up in New York, but like New York ska in comparison to like OC, Orange County ska, like Real Big Fish and everything like that. There's always West and East Coast beef, and I love it.
It's
Doesn't
almost
matter
like a
what
dialect.
genre it is.
Yeah.
There is
Dialogue.
beef.
Yeah.
But it's a friendly beef, and
I like
it's
that.
it's awesome. Well, I mean, some beefs more on a personal level got way out of control. Tupac and Biggie.
Nobody does any drive-bys on ska bands.
No, because nobody can afford it from either band.
So the first person is a guy from the north. His name is Shyqyri Alushi. So a little bit about him. He's a veteran singer from the northern city of Shyqyri and commonly regarded as one of the finest interpreters of that city's urban folk song heritage. Not going to try and pronounce his name, but we're just going to take a listen and we'll talk about it.
O bülbül oy bu grişpen ve şkakini dimen sizkeman aman aman o bülbül oy bu grişpen ve şkakini dimen sizkeman aman aman zilbaş norveş norşiyav zemren aman hiç yo derdiyin
So that was Shyqyri Alushi. Obviously, these guys were doing some counting here. Let's
Yes.
talk about that. That was a crazy little count there.
Mixed meter. So it was, if you divide it into eighth notes, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2,
which is an 11 count.
Yeah.
And so that measure of the ta creates kind of a lilt. The 3 count is traditionally a waltz.
I would bet.
As in American music, so it has that ta ta ta.
Yeah, I
step
do hear
to
that.
It had like a Middle East.
So you can
straight ahead feel for the ta ta.
And then you can directly correlate that to.
You feel how it moves between between phrases and between.
This to me was very, it was very proper. It felt very proper and very
Like-
ballroom. And I think it's because of
I was
that
gonna
count.
say,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
like a ballroom feel.
And
that.
you have that sway motion that you think of in dance.
At the same
That's
time,
what I felt.
I
at
could almost
least.
hear this at a pub
Yeah.
somewhere in that area where they're all drinking and being merry and carrying on, and they have this music going, and there's that.
Yeah, they
that
kinda
dance
But they
happening.
yeah.
to it.
Exactly.
Think of the scene of
Like
Titanic where
like
they're-
if it was a musical
Yeah.
on a movie, everybody doing synchronized movements to that mixed meter with like mugs in their hand and everything like that.
Now this is.
I could see that at a fancy party too.
I missed that.
This is a very, I would say at least decently old. I don't have a date on it, but I'm assuming it's at least 15, 20 years old, at least, because the photo tells me it could be
The
early
photo,
2000s,
sound
but it also could be
quality.
90s.
I like that it's only that young, and it still sounds like it's rustic.
Exactly.
Like they're true to their traditions. Like it still sounds like traditional folk music, at least to me. And I obviously know the progression of their music, but I like that. I like to know that it's only 15, 20 years old.
Other thoughts?
Well, to kind of not so much counterpoint what you were saying, but like folk obviously in older countries is going to have that what we traditionally think of like like a country's home music kind of thing. You know how like Far East and everything like that, but whereas American folk, I mean, you can think of plenty of people like Joe Cocker or anybody like that you might think is like folk music, and that's ours. That's like our version of the really scratchy old sounding recordings, and that's which I guess is the whole point of the podcast is to bring that culture no matter if it's centuries or if it's just even mere decades, to bring that cultural presence to everybody.
I think it's. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, this is the guy that's from
This
the
is
northern
north.
area.
This is north.
Okay.
So, one thing I was going to say was I think it's kind of interesting going again with the recording quality is that some countries are so far behind that this could have, like, if you showed this to me, this could have been
2015.
This could have been 2015, and this could have been 1970. You know what I mean? Because the recording technology is so, you don't know where you're gonna, where it is in what country.
Yeah.
So I think it's just interesting how some countries are just that far behind.
They could
But-
also just like stay true, or like that sound a
it-
lot.
They could,
It being-
exactly, yeah. I mean, I could just be a snob and say,
Because I mean,
High
still like old
fidelity, you know what I
recordings
mean?
too.
to
Why do you
reference
think we buy
that, I
vinyl?
mean, to reference that is like jazz, like Dave Brubeck, Take 5, or any of the great hits that he does also in a mixed meter, brings it a little more relevant. They used to do that with just one mic in the room and the
Yeah.
whole band. That's why musicians back then, like, not to put down musicians now. Obviously, there's so much more that they can like go off of. But people creating the genre of like jazz, when they had to record it, everybody had to be like a top of the line player because you had to do it in one take. Everybody had to play everything all at the same time, and you had one microphone picking up everything. So it gives that kind of feel, that particular piece. So it could be the very, very upbringing of like recorded music for that country.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It could be a one mic. I was gonna say, kind of playing off that point. There, not only was there a engineer in those one take recordings, but there was somebody who was literally arranging people and almost creating the mix based on where you're sitting.
As well as like they had to ride faders the entire time. It was like, oh, he's like I know, like they would study the score. Like the guys not only recording them weren't just somebody who bought a mixer and somebody who bought like Pro Tools on a MacBook. It's like somebody like who had to actually know like, hey, in this particular part of the song, everybody's gonna come up, so we just bring everybody down so we don't clip, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We're just getting a little off topic.
Great point.
But
No, I mean, that's the idea. If that's what it elicits, that's what it elicits. So we're moving south. I found a guy. I'm not gonna say it's a clarinet. I want to say it is a clarinet. Sorry. The guy's name is Laver Bariu. He is hailing from the southern town of Permet. Clarinetist Laver Bariu is arguably the most famous Albanian folk musician of the last 30 years. I wouldn't know any different, so I just went with it. So let's take a listen to that. This was actually a live performance for a bunch of people. The song is called Kaba Mi Clarinet. Clarinet spelled with a K. Thought that was interesting. Let's take a listen to that. So that was Laver Bariu, crazy fucking good clarinetist with a K. Let's talk about it. We talked about some dissonance while we were just chatting. Let's get some theory heads to talk about those chords.
You're more of a theory head than I am.
Dynamics. That's the one word that we're looking for.
Saying something about dominant fifth or something like
Yeah, so there's, if I'm not mistaken, the rest of the song still in the same chord they started with. Okay, so it's one of those like solo rep pieces that's just one chord whole time, and then they have it's like not even 5 seconds where it goes to what they call the dominant 7 of the fifth. So you have your there are 8 notes in a scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 is your root. The 5 of 5 is basically go to the 5th and 5 up from that. God, I wish I wasn't. I wish
you take whatever the tonic is or the first note. You go to the 5th note of that scale. Then you build a scale off of that note, and the 5th note of the second scale is the chord. Is what you would use as the tonic or the first note, the bass note of the chord that becomes the harmony or the chord that you're moving to. I think is what.
And that's and that's really what. Like that 5 seconds, like if you get bored listening to the exact same chord done on all those lutes, which it sounds great because the depth of the instrument, you can hear lows, you can hear mids, you can hear high. So it kind of gives the illusion, if you weren't watching the video, that there's like an entire string orchestra behind them, but there's like 5 people with a lute, the same chord, doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I will say, for the music theory wizards not fucking out there listening to this, I just thought it was a beautiful dissonant change for just because it was. I heard it twice in
and to fix
2.5
myself
minutes.
For all those people that do verse themselves in theory, that was a 5 of 4. That was not a 5 of 5 because a 5 of 5 would have been second note in the scale. So, my mistake. And I apologize.
Little fun fact about clarinet before I forget it. Apparently, it is the only instrument that produces a square wave. I thought that was interesting. Just because you don't think...
I don't know
that
so
sounds
much
awfully L7.
Evan.
L7.
Square? That was a good one.
If
I was
they
like,
didn't have
what
the
the
video to
fuck
go
is
with
he
that, I
talking
would
about?
literally smack you. And I should, because that'd bring great content to like the video. My God.
I don't want to sound stupid, but can you elaborate on what you mean by square wave?
A square wave. So when you think of sound, it produces a certain type of wave, and there's a sine wave, a sawtooth, a square. I think there's one other.
Well, the sine wave kind of goes hand in hand with the sawtooth. So the sine wave is the pure note. It's like, have you ever had one of those dog whistle apps? It just plays that pure, like
Super
you pick
high.
the hertz
Really high,
and it's the exact note. That's what a sine wave is. The tooth one you're talking about is building a chord based off of just those pure, like so with like instruments, there's a level of harmonics that go into every instrument. Like I play the trombone, but the trombone resonates with other tones that give it the trombone sound. So like the material that you're buzzing your mouth on, the material that's buzzing the sound out, the shape of that material, everything factors into when you see a wave file. It looks just like a giant chunk of just solid color, but that's because it's all these different variables, you could say, like what room you're in, what kind of mic you're using, how loud you're playing. That will give you the size and shape of that wave. But the waves you see on like albums and everything are every instrument mixed together, and that's what gives you what they call complex. The simple ones are the sine waves, where it's just that pure signal. It'd be easier to show with like a chart.
Yeah.
But being that I don't
We're
have
getting a
one,
fucking lesson today.
We're coming out with our DVDs.
Look,
yeah.
Chieforia music.
He actually has a-
Peter and
look
Aaron.
at this.
He actually has a fucking
I'm looking at
conference
it.
coming up.
Hey, I'm glad we did because I was sitting here picturing like the waves on like when you record, and I'm like, this one square on this.
Yeah, basically, I've spent $22,000 so far on my music education. I have a moment to talk about it to strangers on the internet and validate that $22,000
Hey, you're
I've
killing
And
spent.
people in the comments are gonna be like, "Yeah, dude, he's fucking right." I'm like, I fucking agree with that, dude.
I agree with that. I don't know.
So now what's a square wave?
That's one of my favorite words.
You know what? I'm gonna leave it up to fucking
Peter
Boy
over here.
Genius. No, I mean, but other thoughts.
We'll leave it
about the
open to
song?
interpretation. That's
I
what
thought
life's
that
about.
that piece was, as we were saying earlier, it was significantly different than the first piece.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a lot more introverted. That subtle change in the chordal structure. I don't know. There's a lot to be said for small changes.
It's funny you said introverted because it kind of, to me, that's exactly what it felt. it's almost as if he was there, just ripping on that one note, and he's kind of getting lost in his own imagination and kind of meditative or looking in, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh yeah, somebody's looking at me. Whoop, here's something different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and there are a lot
that's how
of,
I was perceiving it.
There's a couple of like famous pieces for every single instrument that have cadenzas, where it's like they hit one chord and they had to hit that until the soloist is done playing whatever they feel like, and it's always open to interpretation. I mean, you can say that there is right and there is wrong, but I think from an expressive point of view, a cadenza could not actually be wrong. You might not be satisfied with what you play, but like that's what your body wanted to play. It's like when I miss a note in the middle of one of our sets, or Evan misses a drum fill in one particular part, or Kyle misses some notes on the guitar, and we've spilled a little bit of beer, and they're trying not to do anything about it and not make sounds.
Evan, go.
And that's super upsetting because it's a nice table. I feel like it should cost money for me to stay here tonight, and Kyle's trying to sweep it off the table. But basically, that in itself is an actual, what I feel, a song that's basically a giant cadenza with one chord change. That's basically what we're doing every night. We're doing basically our own cadenza, within a certain time frame and within a certain time signature and whatnot. But whatever notes that we miss, our mindset, whether it be clouded or whether we clear, if we miss a note, basically that's we ourselves felt that we should have just played a different note than maybe what we were going for, even though we know what notes we've been playing. I mean, we've been playing them for, at least for me, 2 years. Others a little bit more, others a little bit less.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it was really, I think what those lutes did for me was really.
This is the South, right?
This is the South. They gave me it's almost like they were creating this canvas for me of this droney, dissonant, almost textbook Middle Eastern sound. You know what I mean? And the clarinet was just kind of blowing in the wind along with it, almost telling its own story.
Kind of like
it acts almost as the lead. It is the lead, but it acts as almost like your protagonist, if you will.
Yeah.
You know
like
what I mean?
A foreground and a background in a painting.
You could almost think of it as like, for me, this particular song was kind of like they had a really long canvas and they gave the artist, they were like, stand right here, and they just moved the canvas down because the music is always moving. Yeah. And then he's just painting as he goes along, and it paints the picture as he goes. At the end of it, you have one masterpiece, so to speak.
I think it's worth saying this. So this is a video of a performance. There is 8 lute players playing that same note with one clarinet.
Same chord.
Sorry, same chord. Yeah. Which is, I think, crazy.
I'm trying to keep those underground theory hounds off you.
Yeah, right.
They're gonna that was a quarter note.
So that's north and south. I'm gonna actually throw it over to you because I have yours queued up.
Do we have like Albanian pop music? Like
so we have
like Justin Bieber.
We have
of Albania.
I can say the name if you want.
Which one is it?
This is Porco Carne.
Bro,
the one at the bottom. This is a goofy track.
This was interesting. This was just kind of randomly found. I was searching for more underground things, but yet I found it across the world, so we don't know how underground it is. But I wanted to try to find something that wasn't as traditional.
So this, if you're near a computer, please look up this video. This video is insane. This guy is wearing he looks like a clown, and it's some sort of music video. But let's go.
I want to see a photo of that.
Let's go and take a listen. I'll show you guys the video.
Tirana in Italy,
Sloveni, Macedoni, Kosovo, Shqipëri, Shqipëri një flamur ke e kuqesi.
So that was Leonard Toma. The song is called Porco Carne. What the fuck was that?
We really need to take a tour over there because I need to get whatever drugs those were that were involved.
Again, if you have a phone, if you have obviously you have a phone if you're listening to this or a computer, look up this video. It will be in the description.
Words do not describe how I feel about that.
This is a trip of a not only a song but of a video.
My mouth can't translate.
That was a
what my
musical.
eyes saw.
That was a musical experience for sure.
I mean,
there was a clown.
Now, so
That's all you said.
I think it was two clowns. Video aside, let's try and wrap our heads around the music here because it's so hard to with that video.
It was a bit more modern.
Yeah,
It was
the EDM.
honestly, it was what I was saying. The MEEDM, Middle East EDM,
Okay.
because like
Gypsy sound.
it had
Yeah,
it still
definitely.
had those Arabic like in terms of music theory, it had the
Harmonic minor.
the harmonic minor,
But
yeah.
still had the drops.
But it was still like I could totally see that being played in a club and people just like the first scene of Blade, it was like minus the bloodbath and then Blade coming in,
Fucking shit up.
which is a friendly reminder.
Fancy Vampire Club.
Let's just take a second. Pay your taxes, guys. Stay on top of it. Don't pull a Wesley Snipes.
No.
I'm gonna be honest. Like, it's not hard.
Don't be going out there
H&R
passing out
Block.
turkeys like Nito Brown.
How did we end up talking about taxes?
Yeah, I don't know enough about Wesley Snipes to add to that.
The only thing I know is he was in Blade and he did not pay his taxes, and that's why we haven't seen him in quite some time in movies.
Okay.
Spending money he didn't have, just like I'm seeing.
So this song, from a production standpoint, is extremely busy. I mean, there's a ton going on. Now that could just be the visual taking my mind for a loop, but I mean, there's at least a couple different instruments constantly going. I feel like I heard almost like a MIDI guitar, like rock guitar sound.
a lot of it.
Bass.
A lot of it sounded like it was basically just like American pop music. It was like 90% of pop music is just somebody who knows the instrument, but they're like, here's what's gonna sound good over that, and it's all put in either with a keyboard or it's just like something that's like pre-made that they just throw in.
Yeah.
It seemed like there was some synth horns or like MIDI guitar.
Yeah.
There are some like artists even in America that like are pop artists, but they occasionally actually, like Bruno Mars is a good example. His horn line actually plays the stuff that's on those albums. But this sounded like you're more what you think of American pop. Like everything's made on a keyboard. Like this guy could have made this from his house and then made it big.
Really quick, that's a lot of what we found, or at least a piece of what we found in Afghanistan is a lot of MIDI-based instruments, but only not after the 90s. You know what I mean? Before that, it was traditional instruments with microphones. Obviously, that's the recording technology just advancing, but
yeah, we're
it's
in the
like
day
so much cheaper. They're like, let's just fucking do it.
We're in the day and age that an independent ska band like ourselves, we did like our first demo, as rough cut as it was, we did that all by ourselves. You can afford the equipment at home. It's not going to be, the $15,000 compressor that's on the vocals that you would get at a professional studio, but it's enough to get us by and it's enough to get us started, which is entirely what brings us here.
Make your point. I'm sorry I cut you off.
Well, in relates to the song and the feel from it, I was just gonna say some of those wacky sounds kind of reminded me of some Flash Gordon. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I can see that. I can dig it.
It
definitely had a theatrical aspect to it.
Yeah, I hear that now that you say it. That's interesting.
He did
That's a
save
good
every
call.
one of us. I'm just saying.
Let's go around the table. What are we thinking? What else are we thinking about this song?
I liked their blending of genres. There was some of that sounded like techno EDM. There were, like we were saying, there were horns, which brings to mind a more like jazzy or just a different vibe to that. And then the beat itself was kind of like a dancey, like maybe even quasi hip hop. Like you could strip that down a little bit and hear somebody put some spoken word or some rap over that.
Spit some mad bars.
That's a good point.
Yo.
And so I liked that. I liked that it merged all of those things. And what Peter was saying, it stuck to the Middle Eastern and to some of the traditional traditions. You still hear that. The harmonic minor is very prominent in that area of the world, and so that's what you hear there.
Yeah.
It's such a good sound.
Like their way of sticking to their roots.
Yeah.
Paying homage to the traditions.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with that. I think it's really interesting because this is, as far as I'm concerned, a very high-paced track. You know what I mean? There's a lot going on.
High-paced track. It was a high-paced video too, dude.
Again, seriously, watch this video. Your brain. I mean, it's too much for the. It's
definitely watch the video.
Don't show that shit to your kids.
Yeah, especially
so okay, that's a there's like a weird amount of like placed memes in this. Did you see that?
There was emojis.
It was like
around emojis.
This was
Did
like
you
a
see the way he ate that sandwich?
Yeah. What?
I missed that one, thankfully.
I mean,
let's go to the next one.
We're gonna move forward. I just want to say, I'm gonna think about that in a nightmare later. So I found a song. I was literally just searching Albanian music on YouTube, seeing what was coming up. Started searching genres, and I found an Albanian jazz record that, like 30 seconds in, gets like real sweet on this guitar. It's probably a lute, but I'm gonna call it a guitar. So the song is called. It may be actually the artist, and the song is actually just called Jazz Albanian, but the other name is Fatmir Telha. So let it come in. 30 or so seconds in, it gets real sexy. So
okay,
we're gonna take a listen to that.
Heard that.
So that was Fatmir Telha, Jazz Albanian. I mean, I feel like that's a fan favorite, guys. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, it was sexy.
That 30-second mark, I told you it was coming in.
When you get somebody that knows what they're doing behind the strings, you like, especially on a level that's like the smooth jazz, the elevator jazz as they call it, you can get some really amazing players. There's a professor at the University of North Florida, Barry Green. Like I can tell that this guy has either listened to similar players or something like that, because I've heard that almost that exact kind of guitar playing. It's fantastic. You get somebody who can work their way around the frets as quickly, string to string and everything, just like that. Please, if you skip that, go back and listen 30 seconds in. You won't be disappointed. Let your girlfriend listen to it, and then boom, you've got it in for the night.
And it was very deliberate too. Like you could hear, like that was thought out.
Yeah.
There was a good balance of like forethought and spur of the moment. Like he was feeling himself when he did that.
Totally.
So we get about
or her.
Yeah.
We get about 30 seconds of what I'm gonna call a flute, but some type of intro, and then they die away, and they clearly just like run with it. Go, like we know you're gonna kill this. Go with it. and we get like almost a minute of him just fucking cruising on that fucking guitar.
My favorite part.
And then it comes back in.
No, just the beginning.
And we get that bossa nova, Brazilian jazz.
Exactly. Once we get to that point, he's going.
You can
he
tell.
starts off and he goes real smooth. Like he comes in like he's tucking somebody in or like just sliding something off. And then like it changes and get bossa nova and they're dancing and they're doing the no cha-cha, whatever. And
The no cha-cha.
I mean,
For all those under
over the
18
place, but not
listeners.
just on like the fretboard. Like I'm talking like dynamics, styles, and that's like the parallel that I see between the first podcast, which was Afghanistan, and this one is, although it all has like this like Middle Eastern feel with like hand percussions and that certain like thing.
There was.
It's really close to what like Spain, and it seems to have like a melting pot. Like we're getting a lot of like
Yeah,
I would say it
that area
depends
of the
on
world
the
kind of
seduction
is,
level,
because
the
there's
seduction- you first. Go
I think
ahead.
you were about to say what I was going to say.
Seduction
so
level.
I was gonna
already
say
on.
the seduction level of that song is like the Marvin
You weren't
Gaye
gonna
of
say what I was gonna
Albania,
say.
for sure.
Everybody knows.
Yeah, seriously.
I was gonna say that like that area of the world to me seems kind of like a little bit of a melting pot between Western Europe and the Middle East, because it's that Eastern European feel. It's right there. It's not quite the Orient, but it's not quite Western Europe either. So there's that kind of amalgamation of cultures in that area.
Yeah.
Bridging those.
This
There's a Fisk word for you. That's an SAT word for the youngins.
That's an FCAT word. FCAT. For all those Florida people.
This is really interesting because this has happened twice now where, like James said, we've got two countries that have no place playing this type of music. Like if you showed me this, and this was the same thing I said last week, was if you showed me this, I wouldn't guess for a second it's from Albania. You know
I
what
would
I mean?
have bet against it. I would have.
Yeah, I'd say no
Yeah.
way. And that's what I love about it is that all these countries are just embracing things that they clearly enjoy so much, and they're like, "I'm gonna do it because that's what I like." And I love that cross culture mix. I think it's beautiful.
Well, when did this come out?
I don't have a year on this. I can look really quick, see if there's any. I don't have a year. The upload date was 2013, so it's at least that old. But it sounded like a
they have that?
2000s-ish recording.
Do they have Albania punk?
Do they?
I think they have
Nowadays,
some Middle
it looks
Eastern
like-
punk, but it's.
Dude, every country that has something.
I would
wrong
say
with
do
their
your own
government has a
research.
punk.
It's okay.
Right.
Yeah. Go home and Google Albanian punk, or if you're already home, just do it there.
Just do it now. There's definitely groups. Any more thoughts on that? I feel like it's so good. There's only so much you can say.
Do they
It's
have
just- it was a
Albanian
fucking good
polka?
song.
Yeah, it speaks for itself.
Yeah. I think we have one more. So you do have.
Boom.
Oh,
we Googled it for
man.
you guys. Guess what? It's out there.
I wasn't super huge on my other one. I'm going to admit that I kind of just started my research on the way here, so I'll be better
Let
on
me
the
pull
third
this
one.
up
Third
real
time's
quick
the
and
charm.
we'll take a look.
I'm actually extremely.
Ska too.
Yeah, oh my
I
god.
did find underground rap. The guy's name was Dado Ska. I thought I sent that to him, but
Let me add this to my playlist.
It might be hip hop ska for all
We'll
you
take a
know.
listen to it. So
Albanian hip hop.
this is on the
Skip.
fly. We're on the fly here, guys.
we're on the fly. Off the
This
cuff.
this is a group.
Punk rock. It's pretty punk rock.
It's either Keck, and when I think of Keck, I think of 4chan. So that's
Yeah. So
that's funny.
Is
Let's
this
not.
punk?
Let's not think of fortune. It's a dark
It's
place.
KEK all caps, and the song is called Mulini. This is titled as Casanova Albanian Hardcore Punk 90s.
Yes,
Do it. Oh
I don't know
God,
what this
that
is going
like
to be.
some NoFX.
I'm going to take a wild guess and say this is a shit recording.
This is the 90s.
This is recorded with a
NoFX.
fucking tin can, probably.
All
Laying
right,
down.
sweet guys.
bring it on.
Kids kicking a tin can.
It's the Catch
It's like a
22.
fucking 2 red cups. Let's take a listen to
Hey, we
this.
should record our next album that way. 2 red cups.
Pare bere demolini papagika paratini, kare pili demolini, papagika, kare pili demolini, papagika paratini, kare pili demolini, papagika, kare pili demolini, papagika paratini, kare pili demolini, papagika, kare pili, kare
Oh my God.
Albanian bad brains.
Molini. Okay, here's what I love right off the top. Now, this could have just been, this could be a producer choice. This could be literally just they turn on the mics and ran with it. The vocals are loud, almost intentionally. Do you feel like they're like
totally on the top.
they're like, okay, we're trying to be punk. Let's turn the fucking
They're pushing
vocals
it.
up.
They're trying to clip. They're like, you know what? That's like, they
That's
probably
punk
got
rock.
their hands on some like really early punk from America, and they were like, you know what? We can do something like this. They went really heavy with the reverb. It sounds like they're playing to like a 50-acre empty field, and so like, but that like
It interests
also.
me that you said that because he mentioned when we were listening to it, it almost had a go-go feel.
Just when
and
the
I
drums come in.
agree too, and that
Yeah.
came from that for me. That came from the reverb, which was interesting.
Yeah.
Now, I fucking the drums. What those were actually a pretty decent drum sounds.
Especially at the beginning, I was like, "Wait, what?"
I was like, wow, those are kind of fat. Those are kind of thick. I mean, they're a little grainy, but I mean, that was. I did
Better
not.
than I thought
Again,
it
I
was.
guess I was like, this is gonna sound like
Quality.
shit. And
You'd be
It did.
surprised on the
Honestly,
sound of some tin cans or red
the
cups.
tin cans on this record. No, seriously. I mean, that was. I'm pleasantly
what?
surprised.
Chances are they, like I was saying, they probably got their hands on some like old school punk before, you know, like we're listening to like NoFX or Green Day, whatever, you know, pop punk or whatever the case may be, but like they probably got their hands on some old school punk.
Yeah.
And so like all that stuff, it sounds like what? I'm not calling those two old school. I'm saying we're listening. We have like Green Day and NoFX releasing stuff now, but they're listening to like old punk.
I was about to say you could have told me, you could have totally told me it was the Germs or something like that. I still can't understand a word Darby Crash is saying.
Well, that's the thing about punk rock. I mean, it's just definitely punk rock.
Now,
I couldn't make
my
out
question
English
is-
punk rock, Albanian punk rock. It's just woo.
Really
who are
fast
they,
and heavy
who are
music, very
You know,
powerful.
who are they referencing as influences? You know what I mean? Like, who are they listening to and saying, we want to fucking sound like these guys? Because to me, it's not Sex Pistols. It's not.
I could hear some Bad
you know what I mean? They're
Brains or
thinking,
like the Germs.
They're fucking thinking probably American hardcore.
Yeah.
In my opinion, because that's to me sounds very American punk, not necessarily
Right, yeah.
British punk.
Do you think it may have been original or local influences?
Maybe even some Fear.
Other people that have listened to American punk in their region that they were influenced by?
Maybe that came out so long ago. Our punk heard that.
Oh,
Well, if that's recorded in 19, I'm saying hard.
conspiracy theories.
You know, like all the hardcore punk
Albania,
stuff like that. That's all
Albania
80s,
started
like
the
early
fucking
80s.
punk movement.
You got
Was in
bands like
DC.
you got bands like Bad Brains, Minor Threat, all those hardcore punk bands. Because that wasn't just
Wait, what
punk.
year was
that
that?
wasn't just
I mean,
punk.
what year
that
was
was
it?
hardcore punk.
What
right
year's
there.
Like
that?
early
Referencing.
'90s, late '80s.
Well, I mean, like, you know, Minor Threat and all them came out in 1980 and 1981. Like Ian MacKaye and Darby Crash. You had HR
Yeah.
from Bad Brains. I'm pretty sure he was from DC.
Yeah.
There was a
Yeah.
Rock
Huge
Against
punk scene.
Reagan in DC. I'm pretty sure back in the 80s.
I mean,
There were a lot of young
Fear,
punk bands,
all of those
Scream.
bands.
So there you go.
I mean, punk rock music was, you think about it, it's still a very new music, kind of. It's just,
You don't get so much more of the traditional. You get now more of the pop. Your Green Day. Your
if you
surprised.
dig deep
You'd be
enough,
surprised
that's
how-
just your
yeah.
that's your radio
It's
play.
still
If
there.
you dig deep enough, you can find bands that are like
Jacksonville
Gross,
scene.
Gross
Yeah,
Evolution
yeah.
from Jacksonville.
I don't
Those guys
understand a
have,
word they're saying.
There's, I mean,
that's Venezuela.
because immediately when I heard this, I'm thinking like things that I've found like under the tag of like power violence. You know what I mean? Like that type of punk where it's just like nonstop fucking beat down. You know what I mean? It's like a constant stream of sound. And you'd be surprised.
Like smash a bottle over your head. Let the
you'd
blood
be
run the whole
surprised how
show.
many
No,
bands
not like
that are
G.G.
still
Allen.
fucking doing that. I mean, I know there's a blog that I know right now that's posting shit to this day. That like 3 pieces that are still doing this shit. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I can't believe you found that.
I think most of the internet calls that crust punk now, which
Crust
is like
punk,
really.
yeah.
It's like that's more OG, but
Now, before we wrap this up, do you guys want to
Wrap what up?
We'll talk about it after we wrap this up.
Come on,
Do you guys want to send us a link of one of your songs?
Can we play one of your tracks?
You want to plug that? I want to hear some. What is it? Florida ska? You guys are from Florida, right?
Yeah, Florida.
Is it on YouTube?
Shit, we don't.
it's on
Only off track.
Okay, I got the Bandcamp app.
It's
Chieforia?
bandcamp.com/Chieforia FL.
Chieforia.bandcamp.com.
Okay. So for anybody that needs that spelled, CHIEFORIAFL.bandcamp.com. Boom.
How do you spell Bandcamp?
JXZ
That's beyond my
472.
degree certification.
So
This is called.
intro this for us.
Yeah.
What are we about to listen to?
I don't even know.
Dude, this is Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle.
This is entirely
You wrote
Kyle
this?
and
Kyle, you
Evan.
wrote this
Like
song?
me and Aaron have talked the whole
Evan
time.
helped write the song.
We have.
Okay, so
Kyle and
we
Evan
got Evan, the
translates.
drummer,
Yes.
vocalist, helping out writing this song.
Yeah, we just wrote the song forever ago, and it's just evolved into what it is now since we have the horn players.
Where did you record it?
At Chromatic Studio. Wait.
Chromatic
Chromatic
Studios.
Studios. Okay.
In Florida?
Yeah, in Jacksonville.
Florida.
I interned there for my music technology and production degree, and fortunately, I was able to get in touch with somebody else who managed to get hired there after we were done with our internship. And
Our
it was
buddy-
a good deal.
Our buddy Nathan Martinez.
Nathan Martin.
That
That makes you sound
Martinez.
racist. Martinez.
Martinez.
Martin.
All right,
Nathan Martin.
let's spin the
All
track.
right, so
Martini.
this is Off Track by Chieforia.
It's time to take action, it's time to roll. No more rules and no control. I'm telling you right now, we've had enough. No more excuses and no more trust. You can't hold me down, and you won't hold me back. Your covers and actions that run your factions have driven us way off track. Look around, man, and tell me what you see. The world's coming down, it's getting hard to breathe. Pollution in the air, it's also in our water. Every night there is a new manslaughter. We can't keep on living the same way, cause people are too worried about what they're getting paid. Cause people are too worried about what they're getting paid. So let me know now if this has gone long enough. Watch this letdown become enough.
So again, that was Off Track by Chieforia. I mean, I love the multiple different sections.
Yes.
I mean, I think it's so great because it just gives you everything you want in like 12 different spots. You know what I mean? It's like you get a little bit here, a little there.
It's literally
It's
what I've been missing from ska recently because I listened to a lot of ska in like middle school and stuff, and then I thought I outgrew it, and then went down memory lane with a friend on a road trip the other 2-3 weeks ago, and a lot of it still hit me, but a lot of it I was just like it's too formulated. And this, what I really liked about it is you guys were changing the feel, you were changing the influences. It stayed true to its bones, but like you said, you could hear everybody's different love for different style of music seeping through. Kind of like what we were discussing with Albania.
Yeah. Albania.
It's weird how it all ties together.
Albania.
No, there was
Funny the
there was this-
parallels, and it's like there's big puddles separating us and stuff. No, weird.
It's crazy because so there. I think it was. Yeah, I know. It was a cute plug. I think it was about a minute or two in when you had these stops and you could hear the like the soft reverb on the brass kind of decay for a second. That was really nice to like really open up that space. I thought that was really nice. But yeah, just there's so much to like about this song. Because it's lengthy, but there's a lot to it. It's not like you said. It's not formulaic at all.
It's not that typical 3-minute pop song.
I was about to say, if you're gonna have a hit, you got to make it quick.
But there's
down to 3:05.
But there's enough content in there that like the music listeners that can go that extra minute and a half.
It kept me guessing. And
you can't really get tired of it because it's constantly.
Oh no, man! Like try like writing and then playing the horn parts for 2 years.
Try playing it for 5.
Yeah, exactly.
I still love it.
I love the
I'm not
song
tired.
too, honestly.
So if somebody wants to figure or find out more about you guys, where can they go?
Chieforia.
Chieforia.
On Facebook.
Damn it.
Dude, you can't say that.
Wait, what happened?
I said the garbage can.
The garbage.
Check out your local garbage can. We send CDs to every major American city.
So they can find you guys Bandcamp, Facebook, anywhere else.
Instagram.
Instagram if you want to follow us on the tour.
I think somebody made a tweeter forever ago, but a little tweeter.
Started the trend, people. I'm following them.
Twitter.
We all logged into
No,
Instagram, so
I'm thinking-
anyone can post on it.
WITTER.
I think I'm actually correct. It's a tweeter, Peter.
No, that's a speaker.
It's a
type
Twitter,
for
but
a
that's
car.
all right.
No, tweeter.
No one
tweeter.
uses it anyway. So
Or-
fuck
Thank
that.
you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate you guys
Thank you
giving
for
us your
having
2
our
cents
drunken
and letting
shenanigans.
us hear your tracks. We're really honored. So
Thank you guys for having us.
Music World Episode 2, Albania next week. Let's see what next week's gonna be.
Albania with
After
the cheese.
Albania is Algeria.
Chieforia.
Holy shit!
Another-
You guys just gotta go down the list, aren't
It's
you?
right down the list, man. This is no
Deputy
joke.
Dan.
Again, like I said, Music World
Hey,
Episode
big
2.
shout out to Deputy Dan for
Yeah,
having
big
the round
thanks to
table
Dan
here.
Walker for
Yes.
letting us do this at his dad's poker table in the basement.
It's
And
in here with a
house.
tiny bit of
Yeah,
soul.
letting us stay
Beautiful
here, too.
decor. This has been Music World. Next week we're doing Algeria. Thanks so much, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye, guys.